Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the official Paraworks YouTube channel. We're going to talk about some crypto market stuff today. A lot of stuff has been happening the last few days. We'll have Cameron on here with us to talk about that. Are we in a bull market? Is the bear market over? I think that's something that we can talk about, something good to talk about. So I'll share my screen here in a little bit. Talk about some staking stuff too. And then we'll take questions from you guys. So good afternoon. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. If you're here, shout out in the chat. And then once Cameron gets here in a few minutes, we'll start. Hey, Cameron is here. I will go ahead and add him in and we'll start chatting. Cameron, good morning, sir. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good morning. Good afternoon. I'm doing well. Sorry, I'm joining on my phone for the time being. My computer is dead, and now
Nice.
it is. I don't know. It's not booting up. So
No worries. It'll work.
It'll get there. So yes. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How's your week been?
Oh, it's been pretty good, man. Yeah, pretty good. Had a roundup with the development team yesterday, just getting information together for Wednesday's huddle. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I know the chat was a little quiet this week, which was good. Did see some work that those guys have been putting in. So, but no news is good news, right? I mean, I know they're working and things are progressing.
Yeah, and we're still in the phase where I don't know, 60% of what they're talking about doesn't mean anything to me because I'm not a developer. So it's I see pictures and shiny things, and that makes sense. But if it's I'm setting up this database and blah blah blah, I'm like, okay, cool, sounds like an important task.
Yeah,
But that's why we have Spencer. He knows all that stuff.
Exactly. I see stuff, and sometimes I'll message you and be like, is this what this means? Because that's what I took out of a few keywords that I could decipher, and but usually it's a lot of coding, a lot of technical stuff that they're doing, and I swear, man, they just rattled off like nothing.
Yeah, for sure. But things are going good. Yeah, we're having. I'll tell you, it's so weird. I think I talked about it in Wednesday's huddle last week about our Apple developer account. We got it all set up, but I don't know. We have a couple like chicken or the egg type of things where we need Apple to set up our account, and then we'll take the bill and we'll be able to get approved for another thing that we're doing. But for some reason, Apple, they're like, yeah, our system's down for taking payments. Like, are you Apple? Like I don't even know how big of are they billions? Are they trillions? Like, how big of a company are you? And you can't take a credit card payment? And it's been a week now. So right. Weird. Yeah.
It's crazy that, if it's down for like a few hours, okay. I mean, tech stuff happens, right? But to be down that long, to not be taking payments, it's like, it wasn't yesterday you guys started. So it's just kind of odd that it's been this long,
I know they're taking payments for other stuff. Like, they've got to be taking payments for other stuff, but it's whatever system they have for the development side. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, I log into our account. We have our account. We got it all set up, and talked with Apple, and did all that. And they're like, great, we're gonna send you the email, like, make the payment, and you'll be good to go. So, and this was like almost 2 weeks ago now. So so we got the email, and we go in there and we make the payment, and it's like, hey, thank you very much. Like, you're good to go. And we had our account. We could log in. Dave Ender, who's doing like the mobile development side, he was in there. But then whenever he went to actually do anything in the account, it wouldn't work. So I look in, and it says pending. So I called them, and they're like, yeah, I don't know. Our engineers are working on it. Like, we can't, like, as soon as the payment processes, then we'll be able to move forward. And it's
Well,
like, what the heck?
I can tell you right now, they're still taking my payment from my iCloud or whatever it is. That's not that hasn't gone down at all. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder if they're triaging things, and maybe this is not a very important thing on their list or something. I couldn't tell you, but
yeah.
it is funny. Anyway, so but things are going great for us, and I'm excited for Wednesday to do a recap. And
Yes.
I asked everyone to write up just a summary of kind of what they've been working on, where they're at. Jeff's is going to put a diagram together. Dave Inder's going to send over some screenshots, and so we'll have some stuff to share and to show, which
Good.
will be fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. For everybody else, and I know everybody's been waiting patiently to for a few weeks to get a big update this next week. So definitely looking forward to that. Excited for that as well. So
Definitely.
Jose, good to see you. Naveen, it's good to see you as well. I know there's about 10 other people on here. So if you guys are out there, shout out. Let us know that you're here. And tell you what, crypto market has been looking really good.
Yeah. Yeah, it has been.
What's up?
It's been interesting for sure. A
Yeah.
lot of green.
Yeah, I mean, we almost Bitcoin almost hit 25 this morning, late last night, whichever one it was, but really close. ETH 1700. I mean, these are numbers we haven't seen in months.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's companies out there saying the bear market's over. Does that mean we're in a bull market or not? I don't know, but there's a lot of big companies, JP Morgan, Chase, a lot of those type of companies that saying the bear market's over. So that remains to be seen, I think, with a lot of regulation kind of hammer coming down on certain things. And there's a lot of rumors being spread and, that end up not, things come out and then you're like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And then it's like, oh, no, it's not true. And then something else comes out and, it's not true. So I know they're working on a lot of stuff. And, I would think that with all this stuff coming out, the market would take a hit. But it seems to be recovering nicely, which I'm not going to complain about. So we'll see. Will it continue? Who knows?
Yeah, time will tell. I mean, from what I understand when it comes to markets, I wouldn't say that the bull run has started, but it's definitely possible that the bear trend has ended or is coming to an end, right? I still think that you're going to have opportunities where you're getting in to these tokens at a lower rate than what they're at right now.
Yeah.
I think you can get Bitcoin and Ethereum for a lower rate than 1,700 for Ethereum and 25,000 for Bitcoin. But yeah, I mean it's likely to go more sideways, and you're going to have events that cause fear and panic and uncertainty and all that. So depending on what happens with different global stuff that's maybe not tied to to currency necessarily, but geopolitical stuff or whatever, something happens, you could see a very red day. And
yeah,
I mean, they like Bitcoin and Ethereum like to range. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. But each cycle, they put in either a higher high and a higher low, or a lower high and a lower low. And yeah, so it's very possible we start moving upwards, but doesn't mean that this is your last chance to get a Bitcoin at a decent rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And just because I want to be clear, just because the bear market may be over does not mean, like Cameron said, that a bull run is starting. You don't have to have one or the other. You could just be kind of trending sideways like we could do now, and not necessarily keep going up like we have been. So I hope that's the case. But with the government going after BUSD and some other things like that, who knows what's going to happen. So but any grain for any amount of time in this time is great.
Yeah, I think we're all excited about it.
Yeah, for sure.
We're all happy about it and excited. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I'm looking at the let's pull it back to like the day chart and see. The day chart doesn't really reflect it. So it's possible. I mean, right now, yeah, like looking at the day chart for Bitcoin, we have okay. So when it comes to technical analysis, you have to have 3 points to say that the market trend has changed, or to define a market trend. And so you would, like right now, if you pull up a Bitcoin chart, you can see that we dropped down the beginning of November. And actually, if anyone was listening to the technical analysis I do outside of Para, then we called that bottom almost perfectly. So it's absolutely awesome. We said Halloween-ish was probably when we're going to have that breakout, and it was like the 21st of November is when we had the yearly low. So we called that within a couple days. But anyway, so we're really low there, and we've broken up. I mean, so since like the end of January, beginning of February, we put in what's labeled like a higher high. So if you look at the highest peak, like significant peak on Bitcoin before we dropped down in November, we're higher than that, because that was about 21,000.
21.2 looks like.
Yeah, 21.2. So we went much higher. We went to 23.24. We even hit, right?
Yep.
And so that would be 0.1, and then we came back down the beginning of February, middle of February, not too long ago. And we put in a higher low at 21.6, right? 21.5, 21.6, depending on your chart.
Right
and
there.
now if you look at where we're at right now, we're higher than the previous high, previous peak. So you would have 3 points, 1, 2, 3, and that would define a new market trend, at least on this time frame. So yeah, it makes sense that, I mean, we potentially could keep going up. The only thing that I would say is this: is if you look at August, middle of August, Bitcoin had a big dump down in June, and then it worked its way back in August to 25,000. And when we hit 25,000, we went all the way down past 16, right? And put in the yearly low. So that's where we're at right now. It's called a horizontal point of resistance, and we've hit this a couple times. The question is do we break through and keep going up? Which, if that's the case, I would say the next stop would be about 30,000, which would be incredible.
Yeah.
Or do we kind of succumb to the same resistance that we did back in August, and do we start moving back down, giving everyone a better entry to buy in? And time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And who knows how long it's going to take to know, but like I said before, any green right now, we'll take it.
Yeah. And if we move back down, like if we hit this point of resistance and we say, okay, you know what, and the market starts giving way and we start moving lower, then you can look basically from June until now, 6-month period, and or even more, right?
Yep.
And see that it's just basically sideways, right? And that's kind of, so that's what we're saying, is we're no longer just down, 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 down. It's more so that we're going sideways, that we're flat, and that we're just kind of going up and down between a couple of levels. And then eventually the market will regain confidence, will regain capital, and start moving back up. I just think it's probably too soon to say that we're on our way.
I agree. I totally agree. And I'm not convinced. I have a certain, kind of price in my head as far as Bitcoin and Ethereum go, that once we get to that point, then I think we're well on our way. I just don't think 1,700 for ETH is there yet. So we've got a bit more time to go before we get to a point where I'm like, okay, yeah, we're well on our way. But I'll take 1,700 over 1,000 any day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Gencom, for your comment here, we need to come out with a project to take place of CoinGecko. Their misinterpretation of para price has to go. We totally agree with you on this. Now, of course, Cameron might have something to say about this, but he's been working on something for a while that we look to replace like CMC and CoinGecko. And this has been a problem for many projects for years. And, yes, the price, CoinGecko controls a lot of values in a lot of different places. That's what they go off of. So when the price is messed up there, it messes prices up in many other places. So, the reason that a lot of things use CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap is because no one's come out with something better. And so you're kind of just using what we have, right? But, CryptoList is a platform that we hope one day soon, this year would be great for all of us to be able to have that out there to be able to use instead of CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. And it might play a pivotal role in, the Para ecosystem as well.
It will, yeah. So for anyone that's not familiar, CryptoList is what I started, and Para acquired my company, and so that's why I'm with Para. Obviously, I agree with the vision and what Para is trying to do and change crypto from being solely and only a speculative asset into something that can be used day to day. You can spend it. You can give everything. Every one of these currency is another use case because you can actually spend it same as cash. Obviously, I love that idea. I'm on board with that idea. I think it's awesome. So it made sense, and CryptoList can be used by the networks that we need because we need to generate our own pricing and all this. But yeah, so CryptoList will work within the Parrot ecosystem. I've got some ideas on how to approach this, but basically, it's going to be it's going to compete directly with CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, and it's going to have kind of that user-friendly kind of user-friendly like DEX tools. DEX tools is fun. There's a lot to see, but what we want to do is we want to turn the listing, right, instead of paying CoinGecko $20,000 and having it be this basic listing. We want to turn it over to communities and do like a Wikipedia style ownership where certain things will be owned by the token developers, and then certain elements of the token will be owned by the community. And it'll more than likely be you have to have X amount of para tokens to be able to go through the application process and be like an editor or a writer, right? But then the community can go in and actually add in information and monitor that. And so it's not something that we would be the controlling force over. It'd be a community and a project.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with your next comment, Gencom, too. Hopefully sooner than later. Yeah. We've been talking about this for months, as everybody knows. So it's something that is, has been worked on in the past, and hopefully it comes down the pipe here soon.
Yeah. So, and it's just a priority thing. So right now we're focused on the payment processing app with Para, and some other things that I can't talk about, but I hope to talk about very soon. And once that's done, we would consider phase 1 completed, and then phase 2 that's where CryptoList gets some TLC, and we can start building that and bringing that out to market.
Yeah, and we're doing everything in stages, right? And so, CryptoList isn't needed until this is done. Then obviously we're going to get this done, and then just work our way down the line. As much as we all want it to be out now so we can use it and take the place of stuff, it will play a unique part in the ecosystem, but only at a given time. So
yeah, certainly.
So we'll just talk about Ty's comment, about Cypherium. Fed now chooses it as a service provider. So I've seen this name come across. I don't know if it was on Twitter or where it was, but I've seen it come across, and I did pull it up, and it looks like it's a blockchain, a Web3 ready blockchain. So I haven't heard that the Fed has picked it, but I'll have to look into it some more. I don't know if you know anything about it, Cameron.
I have their site pulled up right now. I'm gonna say that this company is making the claims. I mean, it's possible that the Fed is working with them.
Yeah.
But I don't know that. I'm just seeing the company making this claim that they're going to be working with central bank digital currencies. But
Yeah.
the what that means, I don't know, because I saw an article not too long ago. I think it was last week, maybe the week before, where they said it's not the right time, and that they were
Yeah.
stopping their programs to develop a CBDC.
Yeah.
So
And CBDCs have come up a lot. A lot of different countries have come out and said they're working on it. But in my opinion, you're looking at 5 to 10 years. I mean, I was talking about this with another holder the other day. I'm like, you got to imagine the type of infrastructure you have to put into place to be able to accept a CBDC in the way we use other currencies right now in this country. It's not like it can be created and done in a year or less. I mean, it's something that has to be, created, implemented, and then the bugs worked through. It's going to be a huge undertaking. I can't remember if it was the UK or what country had estimated by 2034 ish, 2032, possibly having a CBDC up and running. So you're looking at 10 plus years for something like that. So it's going to be a long road.
I think it is going to be a long road. The one thing that is going to be interesting that we can't predict is that the Federal Reserve for the U.S., and I'm not aware of any other countries and how it works. What their charters are for their central banks, but the United States government does not own the Federal Reserve, right? It's not a federal branch of the government. We've outsourced this money creation to another entity, right? So
Yep.
because, I mean, yes, there's oversight. We can audit and definitely should audit the Federal Reserve, but because they're private, does that give them the ability to move quicker, to take actions more unilaterally? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But I mean, there's two big factors. You can't just you can't just hey, can you whip up a smart contract? Hey, just go over and fork Shiba, and that's going to be our country's digital currency. I mean, I can't
Right.
imagine like you said, not only the infrastructure, because it's going to be a completely separate infrastructure, and who's going to own that? I mean,
Yep.
the banks or the Federal Reserve is probably going to own that. Are there going to be taxes? Is there going to be, like with Ethereum, is there going to be gas with that? What is the gas rate? How do they manage this? Are there taxes? Kind of like how, when you go and sell Para, how there's taxes on
Yeah.
that. Are they
Right.
built in?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns. Who's going to control it? Who's going to run it? Who's going to regulate it? Who's going to? I mean, there's just all this unknowns, and it's just crazy to think about,
And,
even in
and,
10 years.
and the temptations are going to be large, because it's one thing. Okay, so I'm not trying to lose anyone in the weeds, but price fixing, I think, is a great evil. Price fixing never works. We've seen attempts where the government has tried to set prices for industries, and it never ever works. No centralized body is that nimble to understand all of the consequences for fixing a price of a good or service, right?
Yeah.
So, in a way, what's been done is they've moved away from price fixing goods, and they've price fixed the value of money through interest rate settings, right? And inflation and things like that. And now with a digital currency, does this allow them to have more granular control? Does it? I mean, so I guess my point is this: the temptations are immense, and I don't believe that these people are necessarily above reproach. So yeah, there's going to be a lot that goes into designing this and building it, and they're not going to be coming out with a digital dollar version 2, right? Because they have to relaunch.
Yep.
It's once they roll it out, it's going to be out there. But what are the features that it's going to entail? Because it's not going to be simple like a Bitcoin. If it
Right.
was, they would just take Bitcoin.
Right. And they're gonna have to, roll with the problems as they come up, because like you said, you can't just start relaunching, that over and over again to fix problems or whatever. So, and that's the thing I was gonna bring up next, was the problems that are involved with this and people using it, getting it to a mass usage, is it's not gonna be right away, So what does that look like, transferring from paper to digital? The years involved in going from one to the other. What happens to paper money and all that stuff? There's just so many questions. When people talk about CBDCs and being the future of DeFi, like Ty's saying, that's possible, but when? That's the question for everything in this industry is when,
Right?
not necessarily if, but when.
When Lambo. That's what the Fed's asking, is when Lambo.
Right.
They got to get, they have to have the initial wallets of their currency out there, so their friends and family get a nice little moon bag. And no, I'm just kidding. But I mean, yeah, it's definitely possible. Maybe there's like a small percentage or a small fraction with gas that goes to miners or people that stake, right? And
Yep.
so maybe you take your current currency. Maybe you take your we already have digital dollars, the money in your bank account or cash, and maybe you use that to stake and you earn interest on that. And this is how they go for mass adoption, because this is now the reserve currency of the world. Or, I mean, dude, but I'll tell you, it's not like they can roll it out right now. And the infrastructure, I mean, talk about on ramps and off ramps. Like,
Yep. I know.
I couldn't imagine just doing something simple. I mean, and it's really not that simple, but like a payment processing app. That's not groundbreaking, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, how we're doing it, I think it is, and it's definitely has its purpose. But there's Cash App, there's Venmo, there's PayPal, like things like this. It's not like we're the first to do payments through the phone.
Yeah.
But this would be a first.
Yep. Yeah, I think what a lot of people are asking too is, what are they? It's been brought up so much. People are like, well, what does it mean for DeFi? And I think it's so far away that, I think what's in store for DeFi with CBDCs is so unknown, because we don't know where DeFi is going to be at that point. It's changing ever so much. It's changed so much in the last year. I can't imagine where we're going to be in 5 years. With DeFi and crypto in general, centralized, decentralized, any of it. I think it's so up in the air year by year. What's this year going to hold versus last year? And so DeFi may be in a completely different spot when CBDCs come out, and how it affects it will just depend on where we are when that happens.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know that. I mean, like what you're saying now. Think of where we were last year. A year from now, it was meme token season, and crypto was building this whole identity and reputation off of. Oh, we don't need business models. That's how stuff was done in the past. This is the future. Now we just need a dog token or a meme, some anime thing or whatever. And
just excitement. We just need excitement. That's all. That's all we needed, right?
Exactly. So imagine jumping into this space, as the world's largest government, and saying, all right, how do we move all of our assets into this space? And I'm sure they just looked at it and they're like, yeah, let's just close this project down. Let's not do this right now. What is it going to look like in 5 years? Who knows?
Yeah, I agree. It's after this last year, I'm not going to make any predictions as to what it's going to look like, because there's just too many unknown factors between market conditions, government intervention, um, you know, all that stuff, economy conditions. There's just so much of that affecting everything that there's really no way to tell.
Oh, I totally agree. And if I don't know, man, I'm almost wondering, like, you're gonna have the regulation, and we're seeing regulations and a lot of the actions that are happening with the central banks. Like we were talking about last Saturday with Kraken, right? And a lot of the regulations being talked about, spurred on by FTX, and um, I mean, there's Gemini and and whatever.
Celsius and yeah, all of it.
Yeah, and all that, right? But a lot of this actually has to deal with things that are really regulated already, right? Like a centralized exchange is heavily regulated. I mean, to a point, right? There's still fraud that's going on and whatever. But this is why SBF is not a free man, right? So anyway, it's I guess the thought is if you I don't know, if you have a tax obligation, pay that so you don't get locked up, right? Because that's the consequences of not paying your taxes. But if you leave stuff in the decentralized realm, it's like MC Hammer, can't touch this. It can't, I mean, there's ways around everything else. So I don't know. You got VPN. I'm not saying, like, as of right now, this is totally legal. So I'm not saying to do anything illegal, pay your taxes or whatever so you don't get thrown into jail. But yeah, if it's decentralized, I think decentralized currencies are going to continue on without interruptions. It's mostly bridging that gap and getting it into the real world where we see some pain points.
Yeah, and then that's the biggest obstacle right now is getting into the real world, which is what Paris hoping to bridge that gap. Like we talked about before, a lot of people are just like, if I buy this, what can I do with it? It just sits there, right? I can't use it. Da, da, da. So like you said, bringing it out into usable real world use case, I think is our biggest gap right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I there's I don't know. There's so many like what ifs and all that, but yeah, I mean, if you could hold some decentralized currency, send it to your Parapay, and buy some eggs with it, at $20 a carton, like, you're good to go.
Don't say $20 a carton, man. I think $10 is bad enough for everybody. But
I'm just saying. We have probably a few more months of development and all that, so by then it'll be like $20 a carton.
Oh gosh, I hope not. Man, you Debbie Downer over here.
I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
No, listen, I got my own chickens, and they're but they decided to stop laying. They're like, we're good right now.
Yeah. Well,
So,
we get ours from the neighbor, so we don't usually buy them at the store anymore.
that's awesome. Yeah, my neighbor posted a sign. They've been selling eggs ever since we've been here.
Yeah.
And, it's like every 6 months we see they scratch out. They go to their sign, they scratch out what it was, and put in like another 20 cents.
Yeah.
I think they're at $4 and something cents now.
Yep.
So
yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, but I've heard change the feed and they might start laying eggs again. It's been a big issue lately.
I've heard of this stuff. So we're actually waiting for this feed to run out, and then we'll.
They're messing with the feed. Yeah.
I mean, I'm really interested to see if that change. If they start laying after we make that change to the feed, man, that's gonna be wild.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've heard. Of course, we live out in the country, and our town, our population in town's like, I don't know, 10,000 or something like that, and a lot of farming. A lot of people have chickens out here, and a lot of people have gone to the commercial feed because it was cheaper. Obviously you get more because feed was going up so high. Well, they switched back to a more local feed, and they started laying eggs again almost immediately. So the commercial feed that everybody was using wasn't working. So just
Wow.
interesting. You might try it and see what happens.
I've heard this stuff, and my town's about the same size. I think we're about 14,000 population, but we've got a lot of orchards around us. So not a lot of livestock. There is some, but most of it's orchards and whatnot. But yeah, I've been hearing rumblings of something similar. So we're planning on doing that.
See what happens when you say eggs. Then this is where we get to, right? This it doesn't matter where we are. We always get down a rabbit hole of some kind. But
yeah,
oh, man, it's funny.
Oh, true.
But I do want to bring up staking real quick. We went over almost a 16.5 billion now staked.
Wow.
So we had a real big, I don't know if it was one holder, but we were at like 15.6 or something like that. And then all of a sudden one day we just kind of skyrocketed over 16 billion. So staking's still going well. Everybody, still a lot in there. Rewards are being taken by people, and we've kind of refined our reward process as far as the reward wallet goes, and making that a little bit better. So I think things are getting a little bit smoother, even more than they were. But it just goes to show community for this project. I always like to come back to this. People having this many tokens staked. I mean, it's a lot of tokens.
Yeah, that is, and I don't think it's any coincidence that this happens. We get this big billion token, stake or increase right after staking becomes unlocked. So I wonder how people claimed their rewards, got their tokens, restaked it, and here we are.
Yeah, because if you staked for 120 days when it first started, and locked for 120 days and had 20 NFTs, I mean, you're going to get, and depending on your amount that you staked, you could get some really big rewards. So, and we have seen constant people claiming and restaking. I mean, you can see all that. So it's just people are taking out what they get and putting it back in. They're not selling them. I mean, there have been sales, obviously, but yeah, 33% of total supply. I mean, dude, that's crazy. And it's only been out for 4.5 months, right?
Yeah. Yep. And that's the total. Yeah, you said total supply.
Yeah.
But when you look at circulating supply, that's so much larger of a percentage.
Correct. Yeah.
Because not all the tokens that are created are actually in circulation.
Right.
So that's insane. So it just shows the strength of the project. And you pair up the community with the utility and what's being done, and man, I mean, this is just recipe for success, in my opinion, which is why I'm happy to be here doing what we're doing.
Me too, and that's one of the reasons why we're here, right? Is community, and you could say we're biased, but I do truly believe I'm part of other communities, and they're great, and there's nothing bad about it, but the ups and downs that Paris has been through, and the holders that are still here, and you see them all the time in Telegram, on the huddles, here on the lives, they're still around. Most of the people that were here at the beginning are still around supporting the project. So, big shout out to you guys too. It's really great to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things we were looking at this week that I've been working on is getting financial projections in line. I won't say why, just leave it at that. But putting things together on, what is CryptoList produce? What does the payment processing system produce? And putting these numbers together. And one of my favorite lines that we had on the pro forma was the token buyback. It's a good portion going into that. Yep. So it just creates value, and we're taking these tokens and burning some and putting some back into staking and this and that and the other. And it's just, I don't know, man, it's a cool system. I think it's a cool way to design it. And I think it gives us staying power. It basically comes down to, and this is what I love, the stuff that I'm involved in is, if the business works, then the token succeeds. Yeah. Right. And that's really where, because a business, I mean, You have to go out into the real world, create something, get user input, and then depending on whether or not someone uses it is a reflection on the value that you've created in their life,
Yep.
right? If
Yep.
if it creates value for someone, they're going to use it, they're going to purchase it, they're going to whatever. And so, because it's not a charity, people aren't just coming in and I'll do this out of charity. People are going to download the app and use the app and pay with crypto and stuff because it creates value for them.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really excited for this whole journey. And actually, I want to pivot real quick. I have something I want to float, and I haven't run this by anyone other than I gave it as a recommendation. But I'd love to put it out to the community and get some thoughts on this. So talking about how Paris community is so tight knit and committed, one of the things that we're looking at is to potentially create a community-led almost governance group, right? And keep in mind, this is not like fully fleshed out. I just want to get some feedback from everyone. But where we turn over the staking to the community. And basically what we were thinking is we would have like a multi-sig wallet where every so often, maybe every 4 months, or so every 3 months, every 6 months, whatever, we could take a poll, we could take we do some sort of vote and put someone in one of the seats, right? And this would create a body of how many people, I don't know, 4 or 5 people, and they would sign off unanimously to say fund the staking rewards wallet, or just kind of have those controls over the staking. I mean, they wouldn't be able to do anything like we were talking about last week. They couldn't prevent someone from removing their funds. They couldn't like seize the assets or anything like that. But it involves the community and turns over any sort of control over the smart contract to the community.
Yeah.
And so not that we're doing this or that we're ready to pull this trigger, but I am curious what everyone thinks about an idea like that.
It's kind of like a DAO, kind of like a voting, where it leaves something to the community to decide,
Yeah. So if you had Para, you could, and I don't know how it would work, but maybe you would connect your wallet to a page on our website. If you had Para, then you could cast a vote, put a name in. The names that are selected could come up, and whoever accepts the job at that point, for a period of time, they would then be responsible for, moving the rewards into the staking pool so it's currently, constantly topped off and there's no issues and all of that. But it's more managed by the community.
Yeah. I think any type of community involvement is always good. Being able to help decide those things, because we always say we're community driven token, right? So if that's the case, I don't think it's ever really a bad thing to be able to involve the community more.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, at first blush, I kind of like the idea. And this idea came up not because we believe that we're in any violation from Kraken, but one of the things that the SEC talked about with the Kraken suit is Kraken had control, right? And so it was a question of, okay, well, how are they defining control? And we certainly don't have control over the assets that users are staking, but we do have control over certain elements of the smart contract, right?
Yep.
And so we were thinking maybe it would just be another step going above and beyond to truly just turn this over to the community, where even the people that have the limited control over the staking contract, it's representatives from the community itself.
Yep.
So just an idea, but might be something we do in the future.
Yeah, I definitely think, you could even put a poll out in Telegram just to kind of see what people think. But like I said, I don't think it's ever a bad idea to involve, the community and the holders more.
Yeah. Well, we got a great community. It'd be easy to do.
I agree. I totally agree. Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm so quick to just say, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, for sure. And it would be up to the voters and all that too. So I mean, anyway, it's just like I said, don't take this as a commitment or saying that we are doing it. Just want to, there's so many balloons, trial balloons being floated. Let me float a trial balloon of my own.
Right. Yeah. So it's just an idea at this point, just to make it so everybody's clear. But cool. That's what we want. Put an idea out there and see what people think about it.
Yeah. So, well, cool. Man, so far good discussion. I appreciate it. What do you got going on the rest of the weekend?
Not much really. Yeah, we're just kind of hanging out. Of course, we got people down in our basement for our Airbnb.
Nice.
So we were able to. They're coming here for their first wedding anniversary, so we were able to do some special stuff for them, and so that was fun. But yeah, we'll probably go out and do something with the girls this afternoon. Something fun with them, but yeah, just hanging out, enjoying the nice cold wind we got today and tomorrow.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I'll have to make it a point to come down and rent out your Airbnb sometime.
You can just come out. You can just use it. We'll treat you like you're a guest. But I was telling people, like, you just need to let us know when you want to come, and I'm not gonna make all my friends pay for the basement, but it's always fun to be able to treat people.
Yeah,
especially people we know. And it's a pretty cool area, and it's a unique kind of experience for sure.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. Yeah, that's cool.
Someone to come over and jump my roof to chip ice dams at. I'll pass. I'm good, man. I'm gonna knock on wood. We've had a pretty mild winter, so I'm enjoying. We're in the middle of February. Hopefully, we get through it without any more. But good luck with that, Q.
Yeah, good luck. I've had my fair share of doing heat tape runs and stuff like that to melt ice dams, but I typically like doing that work in the summer, not so much dead of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's fun. Yeah, I'm a Packer fan as well, so we'll that's awesome. Banker Lee mentioned it can take 24 plus hours to get signatures to get anything done, perhaps as an alt signature because the community rep isn't available.
Yeah, it could, and that would be one of the downsides too. Is like with the Multisig right now, we've got 4 people that are on our Multisig wallet, and we require 3 signatures, and we have our own issues where, especially like on the weekends if Lee's traveling or something, we'll put out a signature that needs to happen, and it sits for a couple days, and it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, we might, if we were to do something like that, maybe we say, okay, there's 5 members or 6 members, but you need 4 signatures.
Yeah.
And then we would create like a trustee or a company seat where, let's say, someone was not available, or I mean, things happen, right? Let's say someone's just can't get to it, right? And they've completely lost contact. That way we would be able to step in and fill that seat, and do a change. It probably wouldn't be to execute any transactions, but say, okay, well, let's remove this person and replace them with a new person, and then from that point the body could continue on with their things. But that's where it's if you give a body the authority, or the, I guess, not even authority, but just watch over the rewards wallet. They could see when it's getting low. They could be sending funds over, making sure it's always topped off.
Yeah.
Right now we're so busy. We have a couple guys trying to watch it, and then but most of the time it's like, hey, the rewards pool is empty. Like, can you fund it? And then we have to scramble and try and get it done. So there's not a lot of downtime.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we've done. I volunteered to help watch it, and along with another person, and we just decided, like, or we talked about, like, hey, let's figure out a number where we don't want it to go below this number. But the problem is, if somebody is waiting their whole 120 days to claim rewards, and then they claim at the end, and we got a pretty nice sized bag, say we're at 40 million left in the rewards wallet, and they pull out all their rewards, they could drain it in a matter of an hour. So it's just difficult to you can say, hey, we're going to say this much per day, but you just have to watch it every couple days or every day and see where we are, and just be diligent with it, because we don't want to have a problem for people, right? We want to be on top of it and make sure it's good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So
we might be on an island for a while. Yeah, that's true. But I think with Cameron's thinking of 6 people, but you have to have 4. The odds of 4 people being able to sign out of 6, I think are pretty good. Especially when people know it's a responsibility they have, to make sure they communicate. And that's a big thing too. Communicate. If you're going to be out of town for a while, just say, hey, I probably won't be able to sign. So that way we know that person isn't available to sign for it.
Yeah. Something like that. I mean, and keep in mind the functions that they would be able to do. So the multisig, you can actually call functions on a smart contract from the multisig. So we would have, the way I'm thinking of it is, the multi-signature wallet would be the owner wallet for the staking contract. And so let's say, I don't know, let's say at some point we change the daily reward amount, up or down or whatever, right? Well, we would have to go to the smart contract and make that change. And this way you would have, like, a body of 6 people, needing 80% to vote on it or something, where if they sign on it, then the change is made. So there could be small changes like that are done, as well as, they would be responsible for a certain amount of tokens that they would be sending into the rewards wallet. The thing is we could send, I mean, I don't know how many billions, but we could send billions of tokens into the reward wallet. But it's not that it's unsecure, but you don't want to have all of your eggs in one basket. We like to send what we need for the month, but that way, if something was to happen, if there was something to be compromised, someone wouldn't be able to just dump para and take everything, right?
Yeah.
So this is where we like to keep everything nice and tight in a multi-sig wallet.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be bad if they were able to take most of the supply,
Yeah.
That would be very, very bad. So, but, security is a huge priority, and that shows in what we're doing, the way we're doing it, that we care about the security of the project, because you don't want to, like you said, you could put it all in there, and if something were, heaven forbid, to happen, that could just decimate the project. So it's just taking one extra step to make sure it's all secure, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, with the first staking contract that we had, Lee had the wisdom and the thought to say, let's only send over some rewards. Let's not send everything over. And that was a very good call on his part. I still think someone stole 5 Ethereum or something. I mean, they still stole quite a bit, but had he fully funded it, I mean, who knows? That could have been catastrophic. So, doing things like that. And then I even said, when I do a signature, I have it on my ledger. So it's not even like the multi-signature thing is super secure, because it requires, in order for it to be compromised, you have to obtain at least 3 of the 4 wallets that are on there, right? But then with mine, you would actually have to have the physical device because it's a ledger. So I mean, it's pretty secure, and I
Yeah.
like that it's secure. It's a pain in the butt sometimes, and not the most convenient. But that's the price for security.
Yeah. And Q had a good question. Do we have like a sliding scale as pair grows, the rewards adjust accordingly per day? I would assume.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good question. I mean, not something that's mapped out. At this valuation, we're going to be doing this or that. The first sliding scale is the value of the token, and then we'll change that as we grow. I mean, right now we're 4 million tokens a day. At para to $1, we're not going to be doing $4 million a day, right?
Right. Right.
So that'll change, but to what degree and all that, it's not mapped out yet.
Yeah, and I know it's been discussed. The topic has come up a few times, some recently. And it kind of was one of those things where, where do you start to lower the amount per day? At what price? Is it, if Paris to get to a penny, is it at that point you lower the daily limit or another, so I know it has come up and it's been discussed, but nothing
Right.
concrete has come out.
Right now, and people may remember a conversation that I posted in the main Telegram chat time goes by. I don't know if it's weeks or months, but I posted something. Someone was asking about is the staking, are the staking rewards, are they inflationary, or we just, whatever? And we kind of went into this, right? And so as of right now, where we're not having a massive fluctuation in the price, the main target is all right, at what level are we inflating these tokens? Because we don't want to be giving away so many tokens that it's putting so much sell pressure on the project, because that's not good either, right?
Right.
So it's this fine balance, and as of right now, I think we've struck a pretty decent balance. I don't recall exactly, but when Lee and I were setting this up, we came to a number that we felt was pretty good for the 12-month, for a 12-month period. It may have been, well, I'm not even going to say what it is because I could be very wrong, but we have gone back and evaluated it, and we're right on pace with what we anticipated. So, that's really what we're looking at. And then once we have the products out that people are buying, we'll probably keep things the same and start doing the buybacks at a more regular pace. And so now we'll have brought that inflation to zero. And then from that point is when we'll really get into, all right, let's adjust these and kind of see where we're at.
Yeah, I agree. It all just kind of comes down to, what's going on with things and, what happens when they're released,
Yeah. I kind of like the idea. I mean, and this is where maybe it would be good to have a body of people or something doing it, because I don't like that it's totally centralized. I think that it's a benefit that the people doing it actually know what they're talking about to a certain extent. But it might be cool to set it lower. Say, okay, we've reached a plateau. We've reached a much higher market cap. We're not way lower than what we should be. Like, my personal feeling is that Pair is really undervalued right now. So we get to a higher level, and then you maybe just set it. Maybe set it at 100,000, right? And it just regulates itself from that point forward. And if people are making a lot of rewards, I mean, then that's just going to incentivize more people to get in, right, and balance it out. So I would really like to find a natural balance where supply and demand and the buybacks are all working together to create just a good, solid amount, or reward percentage.
Yeah.
So,
Banker asked, will buy sell remain at 0.14?
For now, yeah, we like it.
Yeah.
We've gotten feedback saying that, You know, when it's 7.7, it's good, and then you go to 0.14, it feels like it's a special day. You know, like it's on
Yeah.
sale.
Yep.
But this is, I don't know. So you tax what you don't want and you subsidize what you do want, right? We
Yep.
want buyers. We want people to hold tokens. So zero tax and go and stake it and earn rewards. We're subsidizing in a sense, right, through the rewards from the staking pool, people buying and holding our token. And what we
Yeah.
don't want is selling, right? So we're
Yeah.
taxing the sell. I think that this is the most friendly approach for our model. So, I mean, not saying that it won't change. It very well could change, but I like the 0.14 a lot.
You know, it kind of helps limit your day trading. You know, I know the market's been a little rough, so the up and down this price has kind of stayed pretty level. But you know, there's a lot of people that day trade tokens, and with the 14% sell, it kind of eliminates that because unless you're seeing a significant increase in the price every day, and that you know you're not going to make a lot of money by going from say 12 to 13. So with the 14% loss,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
why seeking hold only day traders? Yeah, back about, I don't know, when was it, about 6 months ago, there was a lot of it going on. Even in Paris chart, people would buy in at this, and things would come out or whatever news, and it would go up. Oh, okay, you heard it now. Yeah, it's pretty popular, believe it or not. And we're not seeking hold only. Like we want people to sell, right? It's not just diamond hands. We're not going to say diamond hands, but we want people that believe in the project to invest in it and hold the tokens while things are being built.
Yeah. Yeah. And realistically, if someone's day trading, I mean, I don't know that it changes things too much if we had 7 and 7, because they're in and they're out, right?
Yep.
So they're paying 14% either way, is my understanding. I mean, I'm sure that there's a small variance in the profit that they would make. And I'm actually kind of thinking maybe to the downside. I don't know, but let's say that it's all equal. They're paying that 14% one way or the other. What we're doing is it's more friendly to new holders and to current holders, people that are gonna, that see the value in buying it. Where they every dollar they invest or put into Para, they get to keep, right? And that's where I don't know. That's what I like. So it's not necessarily like hold only.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's very friendly to, say smaller holders, or if you want to buy, $20 worth or $50 worth, you're just getting more bang for your buck at 0%, obviously.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're just getting gross in the chat now.
Uh-oh.
Right. I totally agree with you, Banker, and that's why I, said it the way I did, because that's not at all what, that's the term used last year. Back in, that's one of those things when crypto has changed away from that.
Definitely. No, it's just, it gives people an incentive to get in, right? You're incentivized to get in, you're decentivized to get out. I think it's as simple as that. So not that we want anyone to be diamond hands, or that's the motto, or I mean, people do what they're going to do. You can come in and out for 14% regardless of where it's placed.
Yeah.
So just for those getting in, let's incentivize that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we're a little over an hour. So anybody else have any questions before we go? I know Cameron's got stuff to do, so we'll hop off here in just a few seconds. And influence is using the term diamond hands. I think we could go a couple different ways. I know it's not used much anymore. But yeah, I guess you'll have to ask them that. It's not something I've ever used, so, or try not to, at least. But
Diamond's hands is not a strategy as far as I mean, it is a strategy, but it's like, you know.
Well, you're telling people to hold so you can use their liquidity to exit. I mean that's the kind of the theory behind it back in I'm not an influencer. Well, thank you. Back in some of the other big influencer days, they would tell you to hold while they're selling. And at least that was the theory. I'm not saying that absolutely 100% that's what they were doing, but they would tell you to hold so they could make money. And so that's why they would use it. And that's my opinion.
No, come
So
on. Listen, I'll say it. I know for a fact. I know for a fact that was happening with some people. I'm not gonna drag anyone, but
yep,
100% that was happening with some people.
yep. Oh,
Um,
and there was more than some. I mean,
it,
let's just be honest. There was at least over a dozen that were doing it,
it's
and
such a
that's
cult mentality. I'll tell you what, I
yeah,
hated every second of it, and it was just, drink the Kool-Aid, shut up, give us your money, die. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
you sell the smallest amount, and it was like, get your pitchforks and torches and find out who this person is. I mean, what a despicable period. Terrible, man.
It was for sure. A little different question. Can you say when, if some technical info about the Paradag and Parawallet works, or is it going to work like a technical manual explanation and diagrams?
Um, so the Paradag and the wallet, this is all going to be revisited on phase two or in phase two. So right now it's we have the DAG. It was delivered to us in a certain state. We have them working on some things right now. But the big question is okay, how do we merge these together, right? What is the practical application? When we actually bring it to market, how does the DAG work with payment processing, and is that the mission for the DAG, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we have two, I guess, puzzle pieces, both of which are being built, but one at a faster rate than the other, being the payment processing. And once the payment processing is built, then we say, okay, how do we connect into the DAG and do this? So we're planning on that being the focus, along with crypto list, because we need the charting for that, for the last half of the year. So as of right now, there's no updates. The updates are going to be pertaining to the payment processing app.
Yep, and that just goes back to the stages of what's being done.
Right.
Has the functionality and testing happened yet, and how it works for problems that could arise, like power disruptions? So, no, not necessarily. Has the functionality and testing happened yet? How it works for problems that could arise. So no, not to that stage yet. That'll come later.
And keep in mind, and maybe it's a lack of me understanding the heart of this question. Where things are decentralized, you have, even if there's a power outage or something, right? Some servers or nodes might go down, others would still be active, and carrying the brunt of that while everything else is running. So just the nature of how the DAG, or really blockchains in general work, it's decentralized, right? So you wouldn't expect it to just go down entirely. But no, I mean, any details more than that, I don't really have for you.
Scary crazy is Wednesday's huddle going to be? Spoilers? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if there's going to be any spoilers, but
No, I would tune in, and it'll be recorded. So if you don't catch it live, go and check the recording. It'll be there. Like I said, I got with the team yesterday, and I said, hey, I need a summary of what you've been building, what you've been working on, the accomplishments that have been done, and people are putting together screenshots and diagrams and stuff like that. So I'll be getting that over the next couple days, today, tomorrow, and Monday, and then we'll show it in the huddle,
yeah.
and release everything there.
Yep. And I know everybody's looking forward to that. Everybody's been patiently waiting to get some major updates. So,
and keep in mind, it's not a hype train type of thing. I mean, these are updates. They're building. I mean, I'm just it's less glamorous because it's more honest, right? I mean, we were going through, and Dave Ender was like, "Hey, look," and we did a screen share, and he's got the phone, and he's logging in, and he's clicking around and doing this and that, and it was like, cool. So it's great, it's progress, but I wouldn't. If you're setting yourself up to have your socks blown off, it's not the grand reveal. This is just the first reveal, right, of what's happened over the last few weeks. But keep your expectations tempered. It's great if you take it for what it is.
yeah, and I think a lot of people are really excited because 3 weeks of process and going through things is a lot more than 1 week. So the possibility of getting more information, or us being further along than we were after just 1 week is so much higher. I think that's what people are excited about, is just to hear how much farther we are in the process, since it's been a few extra weeks.
It shouldn't be a 10-minute 5-10-minute recap. We'll be able to take the huddle and actually go through stuff and talk about it. So yeah.
Did you talk to is Lee going to be there on the huddle on Wednesday?
Lee will be there. Yeah, he's out of town. He's in Abu Dhabi. But he will be there.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's a good easy answer there. So, all right, guys, keep the questions coming if you have them. If not, we'll give it maybe another minute, and then we'll hop off. But yeah, it's been a good discussion. I mean, shoot, an hour and 15 minutes, almost into it.
I like the rapid questions.
Yeah, me too. Great. I love how everybody's, so patient while we're talking about things, and then right at the end they just pop the question. It's really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna head out. Everybody get back to their day, but thank you everybody for coming. Rad, MG, Banker, Jancom, Q, everybody talking with us, asking some really good questions. And thank you, Cameron, for coming on again today. And we'll be back on Wednesday for another huddle, and then we'll be.
Oh, I think it cut out the last sentence, but no, thanks everyone that was that tuned in, and all the comments and questions and everything, and thank you, Alex. Oh, I think Alex just dropped out. I don't have the ability to end this, so I'm just gonna wait till Alex is back, and that's assuming that I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, here we go.
I'm back. I don't know what happened. It said I didn't have internet. I was like, crap, did my internet go out? I won't be able to turn the live off.
Oh, yeah. I was sitting here. I was like, I can't turn this off. So I think I'll just sit here. I don't know.
I guess just keep talking, right? Until I figure it out.
I was also hoping that I wasn't just, glitched out talking to myself, because that
right. Oh, man. I was like literally going to end it, and it went out, and I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, no, thank you,
guys,
for hosting this. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. And we'll be back. We'll talk to you guys all on Wednesday. So everybody have a great weekend.
See ya.